All right, what is up? As a lot of you know, I have been traveling a lot, and one of the great things has been being able to sit down with people, spend some time one on one talking to folks. And one of the things that has been recurring is the power of joint venture, of leveraging resources that are already out there. And I won't be able to cover everything on this quick video, but I at least want to get you thinking in it. And it's something that probably for 2020 is going to be my recurring theme because I see the potential. I see what it's doing for businesses that are leveraging it. I know what it's done for me. And it's this concept of joint venturing. It's something that is tough to get people excited about it, but because you can't really um, see it, you can't you don't know that it's happening. It's all behind the scenes. And in a time where everything is in front of you, there are a lot of people that are generating a lot of money by doing deals behind the scenes and not worrying about trying to build an audience and get 150,000 pieces of content out there every day. It's one of those things that I think it's a big opportunity, but it's tough to get people excited about it because there are so many things in front of you that are easier to get excited about. So this is huge. I'm gonna hammer it and hammer it and hammer it on the people, on the operators of the businesses, because it's just such a big thing. And I have to hammer it because you're getting hammered with other things as soon as we're not talking. So you're getting hammered with you got to build an audience, you got to have content, you got to do this SEO strategy, you got to use this software, and the more that you're hammered with that, like in order to combat that, it takes a lot of work. And it's so interesting. Like I'm having conversations with people that some of them are watching the video, and in some cases, like, oh yeah. So yeah, I get it. Like that's how I need to see the world, and they come back with a thing, and I'm like, well, no. Like remember how we talked about shifting things to look at it this way, and like yeah. Even in this case, that is how I wanna approach it differently. The cool thing is once you get because it's more of a mindset than anything else, and once you make that shift, things become really easy because there's not the competition that people are facing trying to get attention on social media and trying to fight for ads and that kind of thing to grow a business. So this concept of joint venturing, for me, there's just a lot of ways to look at it, but for me, it boils down to something really simple. It's the fact that there are tons and tons of resources out there, and they're not being used. And if you can come in and use those resources, then you can get access to them for a little or nothing, and you can make money off of those without having to buy the business, without having to pay the owner of the business until you actually make money because it's sitting there. So that's one way to look at it. And like I said, it's one of those things that's very elusive. People that have tried to teach it, it's difficult for it to be a course because you come across as aloof because it's not a very set thing. So I want to try to do my best, just mainly because I want my operators to shift their thinking to this, because I think that this is how we're going to grow a lot of the businesses that are in the portfolio. And then the other people that watch the video get to get the benefit of that. So this may end up being a series that kind of coincides with the Million Dollar Brain series, but just really talking about this whole concept, and it's very big. So let's just get into one of the more basic examples. So Sam and I were talking about one of the most simple example of this is the affiliate model, where somebody has some traffic or they have a database, and you over here want to sell something. And so you say, hey, I'm going to give you this percentage of that to reach those people. And, don't cut off the video now. That's not what this is about. But I think it is very interesting because that is the most simple form of joint venture, creating an affiliate. And it's like, all right, I've got a resource, I've got an asset, I've got something to sell, something that, is created. And the most purest form is that there's a joint venture broker, and that person is the deal maker that says, hey, I know you have this thing over here. I know you have this audience over here. I'm going to bring you guys together. Give me this little cut. You made more money. You made more money. It's triangulation. We all made more money, which is, hey, that's the ultimate deal maker situation, is win, win, win. You have three parties that are all winning. Now, one of the stories, one of the reasons I wanted to bring up that affiliate thing first is that this is a totally different way of thinking. And Sam and I was talking about one case of this where we know a guy who does just that most simple thing of, he'll either find joint venture brokers and they'll go out and find other people to promote a product, or he'll go direct and find those people, and creates a win-win for them. And it's very, very cool because he's an example of what I preach all the time, even from deal making. I preach this from deal making, but I don't talk about it much as far as joint venturing, because that's something that we use once we're in the business more historically, but it's something that I'll be doing more of in some other ways that I'll get into in future videos. But the cool thing here is, this guy generated just strictly from going out, not spending any money on ads, not building up a huge audience, not doing 152,000 pieces of content a day. He just went to people who had resources, partnered with them. They already had the traffic, and they sold the product. And again, this is no matter if you have an SEO business. For the SEO businesses that are in our portfolio, there are other people that have that traffic. Like, we don't need to try to figure out how to be the best at SEO in our niche. We need to figure out who has the traffic that's similar to the audience that we want to reach, and then how do we create some kind of symbiotic relationship with that person. So that's what this guy did. Generated $13 million, built a $13 million business, just going out, finding the people who had the people that he wanted to get access to, negotiating with them. And each of these things are things that people get scared of, man. Like, it's very weird and very annoying for me. It's like, dude, how can you be scared to go and approach these people? It's easier for us to think, oh, I'm going to just build this. I'm going to get in front of my phone and I'm going to talk to the internet, and there's just these random people. I'm going to do something on TikTok, and I'm going to have these followers on TikTok. And that's easier for us than the idea that I'm going to go to one person, connect with that person. That becomes the leverage point. I mean, as you guys know, the whole point of all of this is just leverage. That's all it is. When I'm buying a business, all I'm doing is leveraging the fact that this person has spent 5, 10, 20 years of their life figuring it out. They've put their money into it. They've taken time away from their kids to do it. They have put their life into growing this business. And so now I get to pay them a little bit of money, which I can go and get from somebody else who who likes the deal, and buy those 20 years of blood, sweat, tears, and cash that they put into the thing when it wasn't working, and when they were trying to figure it out, when they're starting it up and training the employees and all these things. I get to pay for that. It's a leverage point. I'm leveraging their 20 years that they put into the business, and now I get to get the benefit of that when I own the business. Now, what we're doing in this is the same thing as this. Is like, hey, we want to find, and sorry, the lighting's going to go in and out. But we're going to leverage the fact that somebody else has the resource that we need, and we get to both win. Like we're going to help them win. In the case of buying a business, it literally is the same thing. Where I'm just helping them win by giving them some cash. That's what they want at that point. They want to get rid of the business. They want to put any more. They already got 20 years and they don't want to put any more time into it. So I come in, give them some cash, and then they can move on. What um, this guy did is, just basically said, hey, I'll create this joint venture with you. You've got the people that I want. I've got this. And, this is how much money I think you can make off of this. And it literally becomes a structuring of a deal. And so he built this $13 million with that strategy. The coolest part was I was like, oh man, I'm gonna go follow him on social media. Like I love that he's doing this. I love that he built that big a business. A great example. And so it was beautiful to me. It was so beautiful for me. For me to go to his Instagram and see that he has 518 followers. Because I think that is just the greatest example. I mean, there are people that are putting their time and effort into, and this goes for SEO. I mean, it's just the same with all of these things. It's like there are people that are putting all their time and effort into let me go get new traffic, let me go get new followers, let me go get another email address, and let me get all that stuff. But very few people are just like, dude, let me go get the money. Like, where's the resource that I need? Somebody else has it. Don't go build it. And so like 2020 for me goes to this next level of don't build anything. Like you should not be, just like growing anything, quite honestly. Like I'm not interested in growing something. I'm interested in making money, guys. Like this is the purest form of deal making. Some people that's not, and if you're one of those folks like, hey, like I'm in this for the passion and like da 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 da, then I'm just different. This channel may not be for you. You should go find somebody who is doing business for passion. Like I like, the fact that I have freedom, I can travel, I can, my mom wants anything on the freaking planet basically that she would want, like I can give it to her. Those are the things that I'm interested in. Like I'm not interested at the end of my life to be like, man, I sure did it. I put those 20 years and I grew that business. And when I bought it, it was 100,000. And when I sold it, it was 700,000. Like what? Like, and that's amazing. Seven multiple. That's not what I want to put my life towards. I do this stuff because I want to make money. I talk about this stuff because I enjoy business, but at the end of the day, business isn't like my life's passion. I don't want to pour my very valuable time here on the planet Earth into trying to increase the SEO of a business. So what is the answer? Like, and I think because I like the idea of focusing on SEO here because it's something that people still think like, okay, well, I have harped on the fact it's like, dude, I'm not trying, fortunately I've got a bit of a following, but it's not because I'm focused on that. Like I want to go and do a deal and get the resources that I need. I don't want to try to grow things organically. If I did want a big audience, I would just go take over another YouTube channel or partner with another YouTube channel. One of the reasons that I focus more on doing other people's podcasts than trying to have my own personal podcast is they've got the audience already. Why do I want to build an audience, guys? If you look at that strategy, like, Ace has been on, actually a guy told me the other day, because he has this piece of software that we may do a deal with. And he was like, using this piece of software, he could figure out like all the podcasts I've been on. It's like, you've been on 132 podcasts. Been on 132 podcasts. But I don't have my own podcast. I partnered with Justin, which was still, kind of a partnership thing. But, I don't want to try to build from scratch. And that was a case of an interesting deal where it's like, okay, I got my audience. You got your audience. This grows instantly into something bigger. That's what I want you to focus on. It's like growing instantly. As soon as somebody who's doing an affiliate deal, even as simple as an affiliate deal is, does that deal and that is promoted, like it's instant. It's not, oh, let me do 1,000 articles over the course of a year. Let me do the something on TikTok that hopefully will go viral. All of that stuff is for the birds, you know. So when we're looking at deals, let's talk specifically, let's talk because I've talked about social media, and I love the fact that, like I said, $13 million was generated, and no social following, no big YouTube, no nothing, just like, hey. I figure out who has the resource. I go, I make a deal, I get it. And if you can get that, because it's all a skill set, if you're going to try, and this is all we had a great call on one of our recent deals, and somebody brought up, doing a, what was it? Somebody brought up doing a something like it was like figuring out how to manage WordPress. That's what it was. It was like, I want to figure out how I can understand WordPress. And like I'm patient with my guys. And so I'm like, dude, like, I don't want you wasting your time on WordPress. I can get a WordPress guy for $5 an hour, like less than $5 an hour. And it's funny, in this guy's personal life, he is very, very, very well paid. I'm not saying his name, so I can tell you it's a $250,000 annual income. $250,000 annual income. And he's like, yeah, I want to learn how I can, on the technical side of WordPress. Like, am I going to get to learn that? Like, when do I get to learn that? I'm like, dude, I can go to Upwork right now and get you the best freaking WordPress guy on the planet. Dude, and it's going to be way less than what you're worth an hour. I need you learning skills that are are high ROI. If you haven't been checking out the $1 Million Brain series, like that's a big focus on it, and I think that's the mistake that a lot of people are making. And you do back into even the social media stuff. It's like, dude, there are people that are making, minimum wage with huge followings, and they're making a minimum wage from making money on that. But it's not even it's really about what is the highest and best use of your time. If you're going to learn something, what's the highest and best use? And SEO is one of those things where even that's a higher and better use than WordPress, obviously. But what's a higher and better use than even SEO? The higher and better use than even SEO is finding the other people that have already done the SEO work, that already have the traffic that you need, and understanding. And this is tough. It's not an easy thing, but understanding how to convince that person, understanding how to bring that person some value and negotiate with that person so that they want to do a deal with you. And now instantly you got access to their traffic. SEO can take too long. SEO can take too long. And then guess what? Google can come back and say, oh, we decided we don't like what you did anymore with SEO. We're cutting your ranking. We're, delisting you. Now you're at 0. And if you only know how to do SEO, now you're starting from scratch. But if you understand the skill of how do I go and find the other person, so now like whatever thousands of people have been delisted, other people are now at number 1. If all you have is SEO, now you got to spend the next 3 years from 0 building back up. But if you know how to build relationships, you know how to negotiate these kinds of triangulated opportunities and create joint ventures that are win-win and reach out to those people. Now, all of a sudden, you got access again to their to the traffic that you need it in an instant, as opposed to trying to build up organically. Don't want these to be too long. I want to give you guys a little bit of overview. We'll get into some of the specific people that are in the program. I'm going to be harping on it like on every call. Like, come with things that we can do in the deal that instantly grow it. Like, come with the JV deal that we can do, come with the targets that we can go after. I'll jump in and help figure out how do we structure, how do we get this, how do we appeal. And this is how you learn this stuff, is you just do it. There's no, course. This isn't, I have not come across, this is one of the things that I was talking to one of my guys about. It's like, okay, like, what book can I read? And it's like, he's like, okay, I looked at this and I read this and I bought this course. I'm like, dude, none of that's going to help. He's done it. None of it's going to help. The only thing that helps is sitting down, and that's what we did. I'm very excited about the joint venture that he's doing in a business where this is a very cool deal. I'll introduce it. Like I said, I'm gonna do some more of these videos, but it's an offline business. Absolutely incredible business. He's getting the business, getting equity in the business without him putting up money. He's taking that, and then on the other side, doing a joint venture to even deliver using the resources of this business, which are just underutilized, not being used at all. And he's bringing that benefit to this other group of people. Both people are winning, but he owns a percentage in the business, and he didn't have to bring anything to the table. And that's not a bad thing. I think a lot of people think that not putting in money, or that's like this bad thing. You came in, you took advantage of the situation. Like, no, you brought the most valuable thing, and that's what I'm talking about. This ladder, you brought the most valuable thing that nobody has, and that is that you've got a brain that can think of this stuff, that thinks differently. So while they're trying to build an Instagram audience over here, and these people are trying to build their email list over here, you are able to think at a higher level, and that's more valuable than any of this other stuff. It's more valuable than SEO. It's more valuable than building an audience. It is the most valuable thing is Dealmaker. I got to get that through to you guys. I realized, just having some of these conversations that it has to be harped on, because people are still coming back with these, trying to build up something. And it's such a shift that I know it's like an automatic resistance, which is just life. If everybody is doing something and you see it, one of the things we're talking about, it's not that you can't make money from getting an Instagram following. It's not that doesn't exist. And so people are like, no, like, I see it. Like, here's, like, this guy did this SEO work and now he made money. And it's not saying that isn't the case. What it's saying is, yeah, but if you work a little bit hard, if you push your brain to learn and think in a different way, which is not what we're built to do. We're not built to, the brain is literally, when you hear this and your brain rejects it, it's literally what the brain is meant to do, which helps your survival. Like, if you survive this long thinking a certain way, and then somebody comes in and says, no, that's wrong, this could be better. Your brain job to keep you protected is to say, no, dude, like, we've been in this cave. They're saying there may be, food outside, but we got some water dripping down. Every once in a while, an apple rolls in. Like, we are good. Do not leave this cave. And I'm just trying to get you guys out of the cave. Like the video, subscribe if this kind of stuff is of interest to you. For the great majority of people, it is not, and that is a very good thing. Put any comments any questions in the comments. I'll be getting to them. It's been an amazing 2019. I'm excited to do 2020 with y'all.